Hey, gang, so we got new numbers here. I realize that I've been gone for a little while. Actually, the new kid is sitting on my lap right now, and just judging by the size of his feet, I'm not going to be able to do that for too much longer. And my big Doberman is just down below and occasionally getting chewed on by said puppy, which he's loving it. But anyway, we got new numbers out, so let's talk about them, and then we'll talk a little bit about 4.0 and my expectations. I'll have a longer vid on that coming out pretty soon. And yeah, let's get it. Okay, so for those of you who are new to this channel, this is basically just a quick show that I do kind of on the Roadmap Roundup. What I used to do was kind of go into the Roadmap Roundup, go into the deliverables, would be the bulk of the show, and I would talk about each of these deliverables, or at least the ones that I thought were coming soon or being worked on, or kind of dark horses for the release, or I just thought was interesting. Haven't done that for a little while. I might start getting back into that once we get 4.0 out, but 4.0 is such a sea change that I kind of want to see what the 4.0 release is actually going to have, because I have a feeling we're going to be getting a lot of these things, and we're not going to be getting some other things like engineering, but we'll get into that. But mostly these days, I kind of focus on the release view, just kind of talk about the changes there, the things I'm seeing, things that I think might not be on that list. And that's kind of the bulk of this show. So if that sounds interesting, I've got timestamps down below. Let's go ahead and hop into it. So we got the Roadmap Roundup. Also, all of the shows are on high. Actually, no, I think we're getting not Around the Verse. I always forget what the new one, ISC, Inside Star Citizen. That's the one they got now, but we'll be in kind of an information drought for a couple months. But here we go. So notable changes for December 11th, 2024. Release view. The following deliverables have been completed. Final review for Alpha 4.0. Therefore, we are changing their status to committed. Space stations, contested zones. Contested zones are a location feature coming to Pyro space stations, introducing FPS gameplay with various layouts tailored for this purpose. The zones will feature a progression system requiring tokens to unlock different zones, giving access to the loot inside. Collecting all of the tokens will allow a player to open the final door and claim the grand prize, which we can assume is probably going to be like FPS armor or a weapon. Maybe a rare ship item. I think I saw Morphologists kind of talk about that. But anyway, these are basically largely FPS dungeon dives, or at least the opportunity for FPS. There is or not FPS, PvP, and there are opportunities for PvP or PvE in there, so there are some NPCs running around too, but chances are great when 4.0 hits, you're probably going to be bouncing into people with those things, looting them and guarding them and making sure other people can't get in there, that kind of thing. Asteroid bases. Implementing new asteroid bases scattered across space and asteroid clusters, gas clouds, and other areas of Pyro. Do not be shocked if they sneak a couple of them into Stanton. From exploration type gameplay to mission based locations, these bases include both constrained interiors for potential FPS conflicts, as well as space combat while reaching or fleeing from the location. Asteroid bases are one that I was really hoping they were going to talk about at this year's IAE, just because, or SICON rather, because I was thinking asteroid bases would make a really, really cool kind of base that players could make. Far more useful, at least for like pirate organizations, or even organizations like the Carnival that are definitely not smugglers. but you would be able to make your own asteroid base. One thing I'm hoping they do with space bases in general is one of the things they showed off was that the interior would match the exterior. Right now with our stations, the interior doesn't match the exterior at all, which really hurts with some of the navigating. Even if you have a map, it's just kind of, you're walking through like 4 hallways. They're all L joints and there's like one window looking out. It's just, you've got this gorgeous game. And I mean, one of the problems is that it's resources, but once they have server meshing in, that shouldn't be as big a problem. I hope they kind of go back and redo their current stations. The exteriors are great, and the interiors are kind of great as their own thing, kind of that modularity, but work some curves in there and work more windows into the outside on there. Anyway, mission system refactor, reworking the underlying mission system to become compatible with server meshing, allowing for easier creation and maintenance of mission content. And that's big because a mission might send you to a location where a new server is spinning up. And so the servers have got to be able to talk to each other to sort of say, hey, there's a mission that isn't on this server, but it's about to be on this server because this player has a mission at this location. So, yeah, mission system refactor is pretty big. There's also a lot more things involved, probably further down the line with that, where the missions are going to become more complex and probably interlocking. So you might have a mission that turns into another mission that leads to another mission that gives you a clue to something else. They tried to do this in the old days. If you've ever run the insurance matter at Kovalek Station around Daymar, man, I want to say it's around Daymar. Yeah, it's got to be around Daymar because Korea is around Selin. But if you ever run the insurance matter, I say that that's one of the best missions for new players to run because people almost never run it, and AVA is good now. It's just kind of I wouldn't say meditative, but it's kind of a cool mission to kind of get some flavor and stuff. And it's one of the few original missions from back in like the Tessa Bannister days that's still left. And you can kind of see the storytelling that they were doing back in those days. And I kind of feel like that's missing with their modern missions, is just kind of go here, shoot person, you shoot the person, you're done with that mission. But anyway, the mission system refactor might be able to bring those more story content ones back, but we'll see. That's something that's further down the line. Mirai Guardian. So this thing looks dead sexy. Building, balancing, and implementing Mirai's heavy fighter, the Guardian, into the game. And pretty safe bet. Execute of Info Runners and myself were debating this, and we're thinking there's almost certainly a racer variant of the Guardian coming too. So keep an eye out for that. And so that is it for the release view. Let's go ahead and click on over, or the roadmap roundup. Let's go ahead and take a look at the release view. Okay, so I have heard a lot of blowback since they pulled engineering from the 4.0 patch. They're going to be like, well, there's not going to be anything in this patch. We're not going to have anything. There's not going to be any content. Man, I don't know what game those people are playing, but hang on. So I've been saying, for anyone that's been here for a while, I know I've added a few new people in last year, like about 1,000 of them, but I had been saying for a long time that dropping engineering and server meshing and pyro all at the same time was just a recipe for a disaster. That is just way too much complexity in systems that just touch everything, that things would start breaking and the devs wouldn't be sure if it's engineering, if it's server meshing, if it's something else. They just wouldn't be able to track it down. So, I mean, this just, with something as big as dropping the second system, you want this patch release to be as smooth as possible. And right now, it's kind of choking in the PTU. So, much better that it's something clean and maybe not simple, but not as much as tossing engineering into the mix, which is a game loop that I really, really want to see. And I know there's a ton of people that really want that in the game. That, I mean, they'll play the game now, but it's not as interesting to them as being Scotty on the Enterprise, for example. But anyway, we could talk about that in another episode or down in the comments anyway. So one of the reasons that I think that 4.0 just releasing Pyro itself, think about Stanton. We've got 4 planets and 4, 7, 10, 13 moons. I think it's either 13 or 14 moons. Pyro is way, way bigger. We've got all of these planets. I mean, I think there's what, 6 planets? Yeah, 6 planets, moons all over the place, outposts all over the place, space stations of various types and various gangs. When you start making friends with one gang, the rival gang is going to hate you, and you're not going to be able to land at that station. They've deliberately set that up that way. So you're going to have to start trying to figure out how to get from one place to another without running out of fuel or being waylaid by either players or NPCs that are of a rival gang. So yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. Just all of these things. Look at how many locations there are. And that's just the ones they're telling us about. Each of these planets and each of these moons will have probably, I would assume to start with, at least 5 to 10 locations on them. The moons, maybe not as many, but the planets, there's going to be places to land. There's going to be tons of things that we've never seen before, little outposts, bases, abandoned things, wrecks, who knows? There's going to be things hidden. There will be things for us to find. We're getting our first critter, which is the quasi-grazer, which is the space cow, which should be pretty cool. And I think that'll be coming to Stanton too. We'll be getting those there. Gameplay, new missions, location repair. I think that is probably going to be a 4.x patch. That it would make sense to drop this without engineering, so don't look for that. But jump points, we're going to get jump points, which is a whole new gameplay experience. Like, we've landed on planets before, so even though these moons will look different, we've seen planets and moons before. Never seen the jump points in game yet, at least outside of the PTU. So here we go, people. It is real. And ships and vehicles, Mirai Guardian. Let's look at this picture. It is just a cool looking ship. I am looking forward to that one, and I will be getting one, particularly if they have a black and red skin for it. Just saying. And it's Mirai, so they will. And then core tech, we've got the mission system refactor and server meshing, of course. So yeah, this thing is going to be stuffed to the gills. And if server meshing is working the way it's supposed to, then we're going to have experiences that we haven't had yet, where the servers aren't choking to death. Hopefully that is the experience we have. And I would hope what CIG does is, if they can't get server meshing working to that level, I guess, of fidelity, then they should hold off on releasing this until next year. Just keep it in the PTU, release it when it's a clean build. We don't need another 3.18. Let's go ahead and check out Luminalia pretty fast. So this is always a fun little thing where you can kind of go and find little presents hidden all around the verse. I think they're doing that again. They usually have a couple deals on ships that you can get. If you refer someone, you can get a pulse. Pulse is a pretty useful bike. It fits in just about any vehicle of like this size. And you might be able to sneak it into other vehicles. Just really, really, really useful. And this right here, I'll show you one of my favorite pieces of gear is a melee weapon. And I'll go ahead and show that to you now. So this right here was a Luminalia present about, man, I want to say 2 or 3 years back. It is still one of my favorite melee? I think it's melee. It is melee. I should know that. Anyway, one of my favorite melee weapons in the game. And of course, as you know, everyone uses melee for everything in this game. So, I mean, I definitely get a lot of use out of it. But it's a Banu knife. Just really cool. And the only place you could get it was Luminalia. I've never seen it in any of the loot boxes. So definitely make sure when it starts tomorrow that you go through and open the things. And you can go back and hit it on the last day and open up everything, and you're not going to be missing out on anything. Just be aware. There are some cool things in there. So that was just one of the little gifts in here. Usually, especially since we're probably going to get a full wipe here, we're probably going to get some of these will just be UEC that we can get in game. Some of them might be gear like that, melee weapon, helmets, little things like that. They've given away jumpsuits before. Nothing game breaking or game changing, but they're cool things. So, I mean, it's worth coming in here on the last day and just clicking on everything, or just doing the true advent calendar thing and just as each day comes up, clicking on them and opening them. And that starts tomorrow. 'Tis the season. So this is the one where, oh, this is actually new. Cargo delivery missions. I don't know how many people will be doing this because they're going to wipe your money. So maybe they'll carry this AUC over. I don't know. Who knows? Give the gift. Create a 30-second clip showing us your special style of gift giving during Luminalia for the chance to win some fabulous gifts of your own. So a chance for content creators or creative people to just kind of get into it. Again, this is where the calendar is. You'll just come down here and click on this. It'll reveal the gift. And I believe, I don't think you have to claim it or anything. It'll just have a button and you'll click on it. It'll attribute it to your hangar. Here's the ship pack. So again, $4 off on the Aurora MR, which is just kind of the basic one. I believe that's the merchant. So that's the one that carries the big box. Cutter is $9 off, $15 off for the Titan. That is a pretty good deal right there. Titan for $60, a starter pack. That is a good deal. I would consider that to probably be the best deal of the lot here. $71 Nomad ain't bad either. That's about $20 off. Actually, $24. Wow. Okay, so a couple really good deals there. Nomad is one of those that you don't see too often because it kind of looks goofy, but very, very useful ship. And then they sometimes have gear. I've got to admit that I've actually gotten this before. I don't think I've ever used the green jacket, but the red one, this actually is kind of a cool jacket. Again, I would say probably never buy gear in game. That said, I've bought a lot of gear in game. This helmet is awesome. I've used that, and they have a white version right there. They got the GN armor, which I don't know why they call this GN armor. It looks like it's out of looks like his name should be Zod or Zebulon or something like that, but it doesn't look like the kind of armor turtles would wear. Could be wrong. Then they got the green version. I believe that is it. And discounted. Wow. I didn't even know they did it yearly. I think mine's monthly. But anyway, merchandise. They've got a little bit. I actually have this hat, and I've been wearing it around the Pacific Northwest. Wish I would have known that they would put it on sale, though. I'd get these, but the puppy would definitely destroy that. Let's see what else we got down here. Sweater. No, thank you. Long sleeve shirt doesn't look bad. I have one of these hoodies on order, so hopefully that'll be getting here pretty soon. Got the kind of jacket that Disco is wearing, that kind of thing. But I don't need to shill for CIG. Those 2 starter packs, if you're going to get someone into this game, I'd probably go with the Titan, but the Nomad is also very cool, very unique. But that's pretty much it for Luminalia. I would say go ahead and check it out. Again, these calendar things, those are free. You don't have to buy anything. You just click on it and you get them. But gang, that's all I got for this one. So thanks for dropping by. Go ahead and let me know what you think down below, or if you think Luminalia is stupid. I haven't translated this yet. So they do this every year. They kind of do a season's greetings thing in Banu. Considering the kind of the lore of the Carnival is that they were a human Banu Suli. I should probably learn how to read and write Banu one of these days. Anyway, that's all I got for this one, gang. Thanks for watching. Catch me next time.